We are here. We are back. We had about
Finally.
like a week off. Was it that? I forget if it was that
Yeah.
long. Because
Yeah.
I mean, my life has been a little bit hectic for a bit.
You got a couple things happening.
it is. It has not been an easy month. That is for sure. Let me get this backing theme going. There we go. That way we got some music. Okay, cool. So here's what we're working on today. You and I are both members of BNI. You much longer than I have been. But you see there being a solid opportunity that we could leverage. And so we're going to be talking about that and talking about some strategy around that. And I'm hearing the music come back through your audio, by the way.
Yeah, somehow your voice is in my ear, but the audio is out of my Mac speakers.
It's weird.
How did that happen?
I don't know. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so what we're going to be talking through. And BNI, for anybody who's not familiar, stands for what? Business Networkers International?
Business Networking International, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so and essentially what it is, it's a group for businesses to network, right? It's in the name.
Yeah.
And it's international. But one of the things that they have is they have these virtual meetings that you can go to as well. And as a member of BNI, you get the opportunity to do that. As much as you want, up to 2-3 times per meeting. And there's tons of these. So you see there being some opportunity for both of us in terms of leveraging this in order to grow our businesses because a number of reasons. So why don't you talk through that real quick, just to give a high level idea of how that sits, and then we'll talk about actually going in and building out the strategy.
Yeah, so the coolest thing that has happened now is that there are online only BNI meetings.
Right.
And so we can go visit. We can go visit them all. And what's cool about my experience in BNI is 95% of the people are really great business people. If you're not a great business person, you just don't last in something that requires you to show up, be consistent, take care of your clients. And so they're great business people. They're trained to give referrals. And what's cool about a referral is the people immediately trust you. In fact, so I was on one of my group coachings with Jamie Smart this weekend. There's a group of coaches, and we're talking about how to enroll clients and how to get people to pay for it. And I don't know, Google has this rule called the 7-11-4 rule. Have you ever heard this?
I haven't heard of that one.
It's that people need to spend 7 hours with you,
right?
Over 11 different times in 4 different locations before they'll buy.
Right.
And I think I just heard Tiago Forte or someone else say something about 7 hours. Jamie often says, hey, all right, everyone here paid, $10,000 to be on this thing. How long did you know me? And some people have, listened to his book, spent years with him. And the whole idea is people have to spend a lot of time with you,
right,
to get that trust. He said, but unless someone's been referred to you, when someone's been referred to you, the trust is instantaneous.
Right.
And he told a funny story. He said, so I've got this friend, known him for years, and if he ever tells me to watch a movie, I know not to watch that movie because his movie picks are terrible.
I've had a friend like that too.
yeah. It's like in betting terms, you fade their movie picks.
Your audio went away. Where'd your audio go?
1 2 1 2. Can you hear me now? No. Check.
That's
check.
weird. Your audio just
One,
appeared.
two.
Your Mac is freaking out today. It's like
I know.
your audio is going to go into your speakers. The the mic is just going to shut off randomly. It's you can apparently hear me because I hear you. I see you reacting to what I'm saying. But yeah, your mic is gone.
What about now? What about now?
Nope, still gone. Still
Check,
gone.
check.
Let me
One,
see.
two, one,
Let me see
two.
on mine. No live demos. No live demos, Charlie.
What about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Let's see. Is my mic going, or is my audio still going to the right spot? Maybe it's on my end.
I think so. I think
Here,
it might be yours.
Let's do this.
Check, check. One, two,
Why don't
one, two.
Why don't you refresh, and then come back, and then I will potentially do the same thing if that doesn't work. But that way, there's at least one of us live on here through the through the process, so we don't lose it. But yeah. Well, while Charlie is doing that, I'll keep talking through the strategy a bit. So we got these virtual meetings, these virtual BNI meetings, and for each of us, we both know kind of who our ideal fit is and who are we at least have some ideas about who our ideal referral partners are, and so our goal is to go to some of these other BNI meetings. So not only are we going to be going and attending regularly our BNI meeting that we're both members of, but we'll also go to and visit other BNI meetings in order to see if there's some good partnerships there as well. So people that we could mutually benefit, that there's good alignment that way, and get the opportunity, to find those referrals and find those referral partners. There we go. Charlie's back. Let's see. Can
1, 2, 1, 2.
Hear you? It might be on my end. I was talking through what the strategy was. I will be right back. I'm gonna.
All right.
If you want to, we can throw to. Go ahead and throw to the.
I'll keep talking.
What do we call it? The Jimmy screen.
Yeah, the Jimmy screen. Oh wow, that says a boom roast.
Yeah, because I can't hear you. Let me refresh.
All right. Well, I'm gonna keep talking. I hear him. I wonder if this is fascinating. It's like playing the game of telephone. And so we're talking about BNI and referrals and the 7-11-4 method. Oh, we've lost all the eyeballs. And if anyone's watching this, have you ever gone to a BNI meeting or been part of one? It's been, it's like one of my little secrets that I've told a lot of businesses for. It's really just such a great way to get business. And can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think my audio might have like switched away or something. Because I hear you now. So okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Jamie's got a friend. He would not listen to him for movie reviews, but if the guy tells him something to do in business or hire someone, he'll do it immediately.
Right.
Like without thinking. And so you've got the 7-hour rule, but a referral can literally cut that down to 30 seconds.
Right. And man, can I tell you, just to double down on that, a testimonial, which is like an evergreen referral in a way from the right person, can also do that. I could tell you, it's possible to actually watch this or see this later, but the guy that I hired as a sales coach, hired him off of cold DMs in Facebook. I reached out to him to friend request him, and he accepted, and then we engaged in conversation. I probably wouldn't have signed up after talking to him just once if it weren't for the fact that I went to his page and he had live testimonials mentioning his name from Frank Kern and Ryan Dice.
Right.
So I was like, all right, this is somebody who at least knows what he's talking about. As long as this makes sense, I think there's some good opportunity here. So anyway, but that wasn't quite a referral, but it's a similar sort of thing. But anyway.
Right. Yeah. So that's the reason BNI works, because you're getting, but here's the other cool thing I've noticed. When we go visit other BNI groups,
right,
the fact that we're in the in group also cuts the time. Right. So it is like it probably doesn't cut it down to like an exact um, referral. However, we do use Fathom, and we should probably clip the testimonials we get within our BNI group and put on our website. So when people search us, they see the BNI testimonials. And so with that, there's 365 online only BNI groups that we can visit that we immediately have trust with. They expect to do one-to-ones. And the secret is to go into those not trying to sell them, but to find out how you can help their business, and then let them know who you'd like to be referred to, because they're in there for referrals. And then I think there's something like 600 hybrid meetings as well. So we've got almost 1,000 for me lenders that are pretty easily acceptable, that will trust me, that if I ask them for a referral to a lender, will probably say, I want to try it.
Right.
And for you, there are a bunch of CFOs, other marketers that are looking for collaboration. I was looking at Naval and Dan Martell, their leverage points. And their leverage points are capital, content, code, and collaboration. And so all these people are looking to collaborate, givers gain. And so my question is, in a way, how quickly can I go and meet these people, because they are my ideal client? And so I talked to Cassie this week, and I was like, you may not be interested, but we've got someone, Sandra, in our group. Her and her husband work together, and she said, I'm not really a salesperson, but I enjoy this. This is fun. And Cassie, she was my visitor in the past. She knew our local BNI friends. We hung out and did stuff together. And she said, what? I need to know what you do, but I'd be interested in that. If I could help in some way. And so we're talking about even you, like, how can we divide and conquer? Too, just imagine how many cool people we're going to meet that we're going to be able to refer our clients to.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. Networking really is. And by the way, real quick, do you think that our BNI group would be interested in watching this? Because if so, I'll share the link into the WhatsApp real quick.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
There you go. What was I going to say? Yeah, the thing about networking that's really interesting is that you really do. You start by first cultivating relationships, not even knowing necessarily where they're going to go, what they're going to do, what's going to come from it, right? And so there's a lot of reality in that. If sure, we've got some ideas of who our ideal fits are and that sort of thing, but it's not like a typical sales process where you're just going after that. You're looking for man, this is a person that does something really cool. And yeah, I do encounter lots of people who have that need, right? Honestly, a great example from our BNI group, what Julie does, Julie Cook,
right?
That's something I never would have even thought of as a thing that's done. What she does is she coaches introverts on how to have that not hold them back and have confidence in public speaking, right? And I'm that's obviously a real thing and a real need. I never would have even thought of it had I not gone to our BNI group and learned that there's somebody who does that, right? Anyway, so I imagine we'll experience that more often too as we get into some of these other groups and see more interesting things that people are doing. But yeah, so walk me through. Well, is there anything else that we should talk about for sake of the overall arching strategy and thoughts around that?
So that's the why. I will say people have probably gone to Chamber of Commerce. I've done all that. From my experience, completely different experience. when I went to Chamber of Commerce, there's 100 realtors. The people that do it, they go to all the things all the time, and it's really hard to stand out. And it's
Right.
from my experience, it was much more me, 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 me. Whereas the whole culture of BNI is completely different.
That's been my experience too, right? Most normal networking meetings, networking things, it is very much like that giver's gain idea is not there. It's very much like, like, I don't know. I understand it.
Suckers suck.
Yeah, right. Boom roasted. But I understand it. You get into this mentality where what you're focusing on is getting more business, and that's all you're focusing on. But when there is this reality of like you created energy by sending business to people, by thinking of those opportunities, and when you're in a culture and an environment where lots of people are doing the same thing and like they mentally understand that, then they know that they're actively trying to do that. It's not just like, oh yeah, that's a cool thing. It's like, no, I get it. Like my strategy to get business is to find and give business as much as possible, right? Like, sure,
right.
You need to be able to communicate what you do and all of that. And that's why BNI also has like those places and opportunities to selfishly be able to communicate what you do and right. How you help. But like, but there's this reality of like, you and I have encountered this. I mean, like it's a big part of the reason of why when I'm typically doing like my prospecting strategy of getting the right people onto my podcast or on my show so that we could connect. And yes, I give them great value by giving them a platform and getting great content out for them. But part of it is, for me, it's a lot easier to have a good, meaningful conversation to get that 7-11-4. Is that the right numbers?
Yeah, 7-11-4.
Yeah, so it's a lot easier for me to get that meaningful time in that environment than it is by saying, hey, I'd like to talk about my business, right? I'd like to call and tell you how I can help you. Because what's ironic is that might be the quicker way for me to help them get success, but most people don't want to do that. They don't want to just sit there and hear about their business. And really, if they believed that you could help them, then they might be interested in sitting and hearing about it. But most people are skeptical by default. So you have to have those things to get past that. Anyway, what's powerful is that in BNI, people are coming to this armed with this belief that no, that like it is actually good and valuable for me to spend my time learning about somebody else's business, right? And they also create the space to learn about your business, right? So it's like it really, it's a lot of the principles of what I found like make a good marriage work, right? Where it's not about like you trying to get what you need. It's a good marriage is very often being focused on what the other person needs and them being focused. Yeah, them being focused on you. Boom roasted. But yeah, it's very much
Have you ever seen the cork soaker skit?
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to repeat that again. I don't know what you said, but it sounded very dirty.
Saturday Night Live. Have you ever seen the famous cork soaker skit?
No, I haven't.
I probably can't even quote it right now. We might get banned, but it's a classic. Anyway, carry on.
It reminds me. I don't know what that's about, but what it brings to mind is that there was a business that I saw that was named Shack of Sit, and it was a furniture store. Anyway. What were we talking about? We got majorly squirreled there. Where were we?
Just the giver's gain. Like when I give to you, you like my in marriage. Like it's about giving, and
Right.
I think the other thing, I love the idea of autonomy, except in matters that affect the other group. And the BNI group, everyone is autonomous. They're doing their own thing,
Right.
and we've agreed to these certain rules. Like, hey, this is what we're doing, and to me, that's another good part of relationships or marriage is, everyone does their superpowers.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so BNI uniquely has this culture where people who are in BNI are more likely to actively be ready to sort of let down their guard because they know that learning about your business is also part of how they ultimately get what they want to. And it's not I don't know if it fully comes from the same thing, but sounds to me like the same ideas of the book of like give and take, right? Where you have givers, takers, matchers. So it's not the taker mentality, it's not the matcher mentality, it's that giver mentality where you give without specific thought of what you'll get in return. But it's more of this, that it comes back to you, but you're not looking for a tit for tat, and you're not looking for just getting as much out of it, right? So it is very much this idea of, you give a ton and it'll come back, even if not necessarily from that specific interaction or I don't know. Anyway, that idea though.
Yeah, 100%. So you've got a group of people that want that, and so that's the strategy that we're talking about. And this would be the same for Cassie. It's funny, for years I've told people, and I think I mentioned, I told our friend Costas, I was like, man, which then I said, go to local BNIs. But now that we've got online BNIs, it's even so much better,
right? Because
the truth is, I'm not going to drive all around Nashville. I'm spoiled. I like working from home, and so that's the strategy. Perfect. And so, do you want me to give kind of my high level overview, and then you poke your holes through it, your questions?
So my ideal here is to get us into action. So for anybody else watching, this show is about getting stuff done. So most of that was partially to set the stage for everybody. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that Muriel, who's on this call with us right now, so she doesn't come on and talk, but she's in the background and saying things. I don't know if I could make her chat messages show up. It doesn't look like I can. But anyway, so Muriel's watching this with us, and Muriel's my assistant. One of the things that we've learned about ourselves, or that I've learned about myself, is that I pretty much don't do anything unless I build a system around it to have somebody else do it for me. And so I love the idea of what you're describing, but I know that if I'm going to actually accomplish this, I need somebody else to actually have the task of finding the meeting, putting it on my calendar, and making sure that all I have to do is show up for the meeting, right? That's what needs to happen. And so my goal is that we talk through the strategy enough that we can essentially train Muriel up on what that looks like and kind of bring that all into alignment. So that's what I want to accomplish. With all that in mind, what do you think the next right step would be?
I guess I can share my screen and just kind of share kind of what I would do. And you can kind of take notes, ask questions. I think this is where our superpowers work well together. I've thought about this a lot, and it's kind of off the cuff. It's kind of both.
Right. Indeed. Let me get my my handy dandy notepad. Oh, by the way, if you're looking for an idea, quick bonus tip. If you're looking for an idea for a Mother's Day gift and you still haven't got one, there's these you could buy these like Scrabble wall tiles to make names. Like I keep seeing this all over Facebook, but I think I'm going to 3D print my own. But the idea, this would be a great Mother's Day gift. You get all your kids' names, and you get enough tiles to be able to lay out your kids' names on the wall as like a thing like that. It's a fun decoration, but would be a good Mother's Day gift. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I was working out how the cross thing would work on mine.
I love that.
But they aren't super expensive either, so it's good option if you need a good Mother's Day gift idea. If you want to, after this or maybe on the call, I can even show you. I found a tool where you could plug in the names and it'll automatically generate what the layout would be for you. So
is it called ChatGPT?
That one actually was pretty horrible at it.
Really?
That's a pretty advanced thing for it to do because it requires spatial awareness, and It's not very spatially aware. Claude struggled with it too. Grok or R1 might be able to do it, but anyway. All right, I got my notepad.
Perfect. So go to, what is this? BNIamerica.com.
Okay.
Advanced chapter search. That's where we want to go. And we'll just do meeting type permanent online first. What I found out is the hybrids, like a lot of them, they'll meet like twice a month in person, twice a month online. So we'll start there. We've got the meeting day. I've actually saved this as an HTML table. This is probably the easiest. And for me, it's kind of easy. Like I expect every single one's going to have a lender,
right?
You know, sort by day, time, and
okay, so here's what I'm hearing so far. So permanent online means that all of the meetings are going to be online. That's a good place for us to start because we know everything that we find. There's whatever we find is going to be an online meeting.
Yeah.
So and then hybrids, there's some opportunity, but we potentially have to go in and do a little bit more research to find when their online meeting is going to happen.
I would think so.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you're saying like every one of these is a good fit for you, mainly because either they have a lender or every single person in there is probably familiar with the lender. So you would be able to do a one-to-one and get some good connections, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then go ahead and continue.
So I'm just going to right-click, open this in a new tab, and when we go here, we will see the show members. And so we got two things. One, we got the leadership. So I would probably, if I was going to go to this one, I would probably like reach out to probably the president or VP, or I don't know, I haven't figured this out. Maybe the visitor host, but I think I would probably reach out to the president or VP.
And for what purpose?
Just to let them know, hey, you know, I'm looking to visit, and just introduce myself so I don't show up just out of the blue.
Would you go into that saying, hey, I'm looking to visit and I'm kind of approaching this for permission, or is it I'm looking to visit and I don't know, walk me through what that sounds like.
So making it up as I go, I would probably say I love what Adam Gonzalez says, and it's true. Like, hey, I'm looking to visit. I'm looking for companies that I can refer my ideal clients to.
Perfect. And I think that makes sense. Like, that is the reality. It's not going to be the same level as like how you try to refer within the group, right? Like you really strive within your BNI chapter to say, hey, like this group especially, I really want to try to find referrals for you, right?
Yeah.
Like you may not be as actively doing that with these other groups, but you are looking for the people that are like, who can I refer business to that I don't already have, a good option for. And you're not saying, hey, I'm going to send referrals to everybody in the group. And you're not saying that you're going to send referrals to anybody. You're saying you're looking for the ideal partner, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Or ideal people to refer I'm looking for people to refer my ideal clients to.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
So there's a couple of things I look for. So one, I'm looking for people I can refer my clients to, power partners. Two, I am looking for, this is interesting, who could be potential power partners? So for example, when I talk to the one guy from New York,
Right.
and he's the one that told me that fractional CFOs are potential power. So I'm trying to, like, who are the potential power teams uh, that I can either bring back to our group, say, oh, hey, we should get this type of person because of 1, 2, 3, or for me, what potential power teams could be.
So so what I would call that is that that's a mission of knowledge. You're looking to become aware. You're looking to learn about new potential power partners that you weren't already aware of.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
you're looking to grow through other people's experience.
Right. So I'm looking for power partners. I'm looking for R&D, and then any potential clients, right? I mean, I'm not going to say no to that.
Right. And potential clients for you are lenders, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking for the lenders themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
So I would go, say, hey, look, this is what I'm looking to do. Looking to find other folks I can send referrals to.
That's the message that you send out to the president is what you're expecting currently.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And so, like, here, this is a printer that could possibly be a good fit for you.
Right.
Videographer, film producer, maybe not as much. Financial advisor, maybe if they work with SaaS companies.
Right.
Bookkeeper, maybe. Like, I think bookkeepers could potentially, like, the right bookkeeper could be really good for you.
Right.
You got web design here.
Right.
So those are
funnel ability. So that's somebody that's building like marketing funnels. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that, because, like, I think this is part of the power too of you saying and I mean, you don't give advice, but the the helpful experience of potentially focusing in one specific direction. I can be somebody in marketing and not be perceived as a threat by being very specific. This is who I'm looking to help, how I help, and what I help with. That there's a decent number of people that may not see me as competition, right?
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah. So just in this one, that's a good one. And
so you're sort of assessing that group and saying, hey, are there good partners in here, right? Are there good potential referrals partners in here, or people who would have the R&D of being able to tell me who good referral partners would be.
Yeah.
And so for you, it's really easy because just about everybody is connected to lenders. So, like, you have likely referrals to clients in just about every meeting. For me, I might need to be a little bit more choosy, or at least become really clear about who I'm targeting, right?
Yeah, you should. I mean, I think it makes sense for you. Maybe there's a way I could triage it as well. But I mean, for you, I think it makes sense to look for certain groups, so me, if I could do anything, I would probably want to, it'd be great to just have this whole list so that you could, I think there's a way to search for a certain type of people too. But for me,
there is. So there's a way to search for people, but I don't know if there's a way to search for people who are part of a permanent online group, right? Like, I don't think there's a way to do that. So I could reach out, like, I could go the direct, I'm going to connect with people sort of thing. But I think there is power in, there's power in going to the group that lets me say, here's who I'm looking to connect with. and having multiple people potentially be able to help me with that, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So this is, I searched fractional.
Right.
Here's a list of a bunch of them that showed up.
Right.
But we don't know. And so I've had people reach out to me randomly that says, "Hey, you're part of BNI, so am I." I don't think that's nearly as good as what we're talking about doing here.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, like, if what we were talking about before with the 7-Eleven 4, here's kind of our theory here. If 7-Eleven 4 is the general, like, the overall average for you don't know me from Adam, how do you get the opportunity for a sale from any rando in the world, right? Like it's that 7-Eleven 4. That's the 7 hours, over 11 interactions in 4 separate places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'll pull it up, but yeah, something like that.
Okay, so essentially our theory is that by going after BNI people, it's not likely 0, 0, 0 or 1, 1, 1 as opposed to 7-Eleven 4, but we think it's 7-Eleven 4 minus X, some unknown number, but it's more efficient than just the average, right? And potentially X might be large, right? Like it might be a large reduction in those. So by targeting these people, we're maximizing our exposure to multiple people by going to a group with multiple people in the group. We're guaranteeing that we get some FaceTime with people. So, using the, what is it? The like filter? Was that the name of the book?
Yeah, the like switch.
Like switch. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, the like switch. So using some of that, of knowing that like proximity and all of that really helps for sake of likelihood of being able to make a connection. So we're sort of leveraging some of those principles to try and give us the best shot of saying how can we still network and network authentically. So we're getting at least proximity, we're getting a little bit of duration, and we are getting a bit of intensity, right? Because being on a Zoom with somebody is more intense than just a email or text message or even phone call in many cases. Although you do have intimacy on some of those. Anyway, so that's our theory. Is like we get one to many, we get a lot of these friend formula components coming into play. And that's why we like that better than just doing a direct outreach. So I'm with you on that. That makes sense.
And then for my follow-up, what I've told everyone, I think the best thing is, and I'd love your thoughts, what would be an easy, scalable way to do this? But send everyone a real life thank you note. In the meeting.
Real like or real live?
Real life.
Real life. Okay, gotcha.
Physical.
So how to do that scalably?
Yeah.
So there's a couple of ways to do this. There's at least a couple of companies that will let you like text, put in text. You could even do this via API and deliver that way. Actually, there's a company I'm gonna be meeting with soon called Print Genie that lets you trigger events like that too. You could do a thank you card out of that. And they have no minimums. So you could trigger an API out of that. It depends on, do you care about it being fully handwritten?
I mean, that would be nice. I don't think that's needed. I mean, they're not getting thank you cards from people. So,
right. Well, go ahead and pull up Print Genie real quick. I forget what the website is. Just Google it. So print, and then there you go. You may have already been there. And if anybody is watching this, and wants to support this show, I've got a referral link that you can check them out with. Yeah, this is it. So if you scroll down, let me find one that shows like an example. Look for just example. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so this sort of shows you the kinds of things that they could send out. So you could send out letters, you could send out postcards, you could actually send out greeting cards. and they aren't handwritten, but they have like handwritten font, and
Gotcha.
you can do them dynamically. So like this would be a decent option if you're kind of always sending the same thing. You can customize it, but it might not be as easy to customize it. Send out cards might be a decent option if you wanted to do like a one-off sort of thing. And then I know there are services where like you could like type up a quick message and then send it out. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be ways that via API, if you've got their name, you've got their address, you've got some of that information, that you could get something sent out, and you could even automate it. You can trigger it off of like NoCoDB or something, and have it be part of an automated follow-up sequence. I mean, shoot, like with AI, there's even a possibility of like having it be a real quick process where you don't have to sit down and write it. You can just sort of like brain dump some of your thoughts and then have it deploy out. That to me, that's for anybody watching, that is one of my favorite uses of AI, where you're not using it to pretend like a human did something, but you're using it to take real human action and give it superpowers, give it legs, right? Like I did that with the testimonial for somebody the other day, where the way that I created the testimonial wasn't just to say, hey, generate a testimonial for this. I said, here are my thoughts about this business. Now generate a testimonial. And so it was really able to capture what I thought. And it was real and authentic, but I didn't have to sit down and try and type out and formulate a testimonial. It was still
pretty good copywriter.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so Print Genie could be a good option. I know there's another company. I'm going to be talking to these guys this week, actually. But there's another good option as well. I can't think of the name of it right now, but there's a few things that do APIs. What I like most about these guys, there's no minimums. There's no minimums required. You can trigger it via API, and they have print formats that have that right mix of it feels more personal than like a windowed envelope, right? Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So looks like you might need the pro version if you're going to actually use. Well, I guess if you're going to have API fields or templated messages, but maybe that wouldn't even be needed.
I think we'd be able to make it work. And by the way, I have an account that you and I can make something happen for you with it. By the way.
Oh,
so you're good. Anybody watching, reach out. But yeah, so that makes sense. So sending a personalized thank you note as a follow up. What kind of thing would you have in your thank you note?
It would just be, hey, it was great to meet you. I'd use AI to come up with some. It's just like, hey, it was really great to meet you, and that would be it. Thanks for having me at your meeting.
Right.
I'm really good at minimum viable product, or like no one is doing that. So just the fact that you did that is phenomenal. Right.
Yeah, another thing that's in that same vein, it's not a physical note, so it's not as ideal for that, but it's a something that feels similar. You could use something like BombBomb or Bonjoro or something else that lets you send a personal video easily and readily. That would be a good way to do it as well. This is in the vein. I'd have to think through what I would do for the strategy if I was going to use AI. But like, you could also use something like HeyGen, where it, like, if you wanted to record a few of your thoughts or whatever, and then get that in, and then HeyGen could actually generate that video and send that out. So that's an option as well. I think this one might be one that I would try to do manually if I could, because it doesn't need to take long if you've got. Loom could work well as well. I would probably personally use the scripts. That's what I use currently, because I pay for it anyway, and it has a lot of the same abilities as Loom. But
You know, that's cool. There's some innovations that can happen there. You can say, hey, great to meet you. You know, you get Brad, you know, let that be AI.
Right.
At the profit builders, that could be
Right.
AI.
Right.
Wanted to do a quick video. You know, hey, if you've got something like this, you can say, you know, if I can send you a referral, let me know. Again, this is who I'm looking for.
Right.
I want you to be their hero.
Right.
I don't know, you know. I'd love your thoughts. You could probably come up with some stuff that would make this better. But simply, if you just send everyone a note card that says "Thank you, it was great to meet you," you're gonna blow every. I mean, you're gonna be more memorable, right?
Right. Right.
And,
I mean, honestly, the best gift that everybody loves is whenever you can send somebody a referral or a connection. And sometimes, like honestly, this is one of the things that I've learned. It doesn't need to be a client. Like there are some times where the referral that you send to somebody, hey, I think you guys might work well together, right? Like there might be good JV or partnership there, right? Like, sure, if there's somebody that you're like, hey, I think they might need your services, then great. Like that's a great referral too. But that could work really well. Another, in terms of the mix of things that you could do to like really wow somebody and establish a relationship, you could also record a testimonial for them. You can, I'm trying to think of what else. I'll see if I could track down my notes. Somebody that we both know had a really good system for how they leveraged this.
Nice.
To very strategically like how they did their networking and what they had happen automatically after the fact and all of that. But anyway, but I'll see if I can track down my list of what all they were doing.
So you mentioned a good thing. When I go there, of course, for my 60-second commercial, you know, I tell them who I serve, and I am looking for strategic partner. So I would say, you know, I help lenders get amazing realtor partnerships that gives them referrals. I am looking to partner with other companies that serve lenders. To me, that is much easier,
right?
Than asking for an actual client, right? Like they just met us. But referring to a potential partner, like, you know, that's going to take time to develop.
Right. Well, and that makes sense. Like saying, hey, I think, like, yeah. Well, why is that the case, right? Because like, it is a whole lot easier to make a referral to a strategic partner than it is to make a referral of a client, because maybe that's part of it. When I'm making a referral to a client, I am putting my reputation on the line, saying, I think you should spend your money with that person. And if that goes bad, that goes bad on me too, right? And so there's more of a risk. But when it's a strategic partner, it's like, hey, I think you guys should talk. I think you might be able to work together and both of you grow each other's businesses. There's not that same expectation of there's necessarily a cost. There's not that same expectation of like, there's more of an opportunity where they work it out and see if it's a good fit, but you still get value for making that connection.
Yeah. And I mean, that's where the real value is. And you know, I mean, almost every time I talk to you about BNI, I'm thinking in strategic partners, you know, the fish whales. I'm all self-conscious now about my Southern accent when I say whales.
And what's funny is I think if you said well and whale, they just both sound very similar is all.
Yeah. So that's what I would say. And then, you know, I would say, you know,
and by the way, real quick, as a side note, you don't need to feel self-conscious because Southern accents just always sound amazing. My favorite character in all of movie history is Doc Holliday. And that guy has the most Southern gentlemanly accent of anybody around. So anyway, I'm your uncle.
Yeah. And this is what I say, I'm looking to do one-to-ones. So that's the other really cool thing about BNI is these people are trained to have non-aggressive, pushy one-to-ones, you know. And then when I do the one-to-one, I like I have them go first. I like 30 minutes for it. This is very psychologically powerful. Cialdini principles. You're like, yeah, that makes sense. I have them go first. You know, I ask really great questions. You know, who is your strategic partner? You know, I want them thinking that way. Most people don't. You know, most people aren't thinking strategic partner, but you know, I like to think about that. Because I mean, that's the gift that keeps on giving. That's so much more value. You know, and I ask questions. You know, who serves your clients before you? Who after you? You know, I love, you know, and you know, I just ask about them. You know, why do you still do it? Who's your favorite client? My goal is that we get to about 25 minutes and they're like, oh my gosh, we haven't even talked about you yet. Like, that's really my goal. And because then either I say, you know, hey, I've got a little bit more time, you know, we can do that. Or it's even better, like, you know, man, this was great. Could we do another one-to-one? And I'd love to share with you. Like, now you've got 3 different meetings over, and you've got 2 hours. I really like the first one to be all on them.
Yeah, so you're collecting minutes there is part of what you're doing. You're collecting minutes and locations.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't know exactly how the 4 part of that principle works. Theoretically, in this environment, we've got at least 2 in the 7-Eleven 4 because we've got the BNI group itself, we've got the meeting, the one-to-one meeting. Does a second one-to-one meeting count as another location, or does it count as? Because I've always heard that principle as 3. That 3 separate locations is what makes somebody a friend. So digital.
So you know, Google talks about, you know, being digital. So you got YouTube, you got Google. You know, they're selling their stuff. And I've got to leave 10 minutes. You know. When I say other stuff before, they say, you know, go to, you know, 4 different restaurants if you can. You know, I mean, really, I mean, we're getting psychologically, you know, raw. You could probably just switch your Zoom background.
Right.
You know,
creating an ecosystem just because they found it doesn't mean you should keep them there. In fact, it's better to your website. Okay. So that makes sense. So in terms of collecting locations this way, I mean, literally, it could be BNI. Yeah, shoot. So here's how we get to our 4 pretty readily. We got the BNI meeting, right? And that's like 1 location. Then we get the one-to-one. That's another location. It's okay that it's still like on Zoom. Then we follow up with them via maybe email. And we have that location, and then maybe via text message as well, and that's like a 4th location, right? And that gets us our separate locations.
Yeah, and then you've got your second Zoom too, right?
Right. Yeah. You know, exactly.
And the other reason I like the second Zoom is it actually gives my brain time to figure out how I can help. Right. You know, so I love jumping into the second Zoom with, hey, I was thinking about what we talked about, and you know, here's something. So like in our group, Jack Malice, I've been thinking, all right, how could I help him? And I was like, oh, like I'm a realtor. I have problem referring solar. And so I got with Renee, our realtor, and I was like, help me solve this. I'm brainwashed. And so I came up with a way, and me and him are doing a one-to-one. Like, I'm not sending him a personal referral, but like I've been racking my brain on how I could help him. And this, I mean, this literally could open up the floodgates of realtors.
Right.
So the second one-to-one, I've got time to, giver's gain. I love to start out with, you were talking about X. Here's how I can help you, right?
Right.
And then, what has worked the best for me is, and then I share what I do. I love, I'm not trying to sell them. I love saying, hey, this, I think exactly what to say talks about it. This probably, isn't for you, or I'm not, like, basically, like, I really want it. And the way this happened by accident. On my BNI, I was selling reputation marketing,
Right.
and I was doing one-to-ones, and I was like, I wanted them to be like, truly, like, I'm not trying to sell this to you. One, it was kind of a high-ticket item, and I was like, hey, I'm not trying to sell this to you, but I want you to know this is the presentation that I go through with my clients.
Right.
And they were like, I want this.
Right.
And I sold a bunch of, and there was the presentation. I was looking back. It was a really well done presentation, and what it did is it positioned as what I'm doing is the most important thing in my business. Number two, it's going to be really hard, almost impossible for you to do it yourself.
Right.
3, I'm going to make it really easy.
Right. That makes sense.
And so then I share what I do, and literally I ask for, who do you know, strategic partner. And so this is my plan with BNI. Of course, it's really easy with me because I do have the trial.
Right.
And so I'm actually going to say, hey, who do you know that would like a trial? I think it would be good if you had something that, who do you know that I could give this gift to? Whether it's a course, a consultation.
For me, it's most typically like my gift is most often have them on my podcast and create some great content to promote them. Right. So that's the easiest front end offer, is to say like, hey, let's do some content together. Let's promote you. Let's collaborate.
I love that. That makes sense.
And so that tends to be a good option. Sometimes I throw out there, hey, sometimes it makes sense for us to do webinars to my list. Like, sometimes it makes sense for us to promote that way. So there's a lot of things that I have as like there's opportunity here, right?
Right.
But yeah, that makes sense. And so I love that. Okay, so then what is your goal in terms of how many of these per week you're going to try and target? What feels realistic and likely for you?
Dan just asked if you knew that there was background music running. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
So I when I'm at my best, I don't have a goal like that.
Right.
I'm just going to do it I'm just going to do as many as I can to kind of figure out the system. And
what practically does that look like for you, though? What would you imagine if you had to guess? So there may not be like a mathematical reason, but you have 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week. How much? So you're gonna have anywhere from hour and a half for the Zoom meeting itself, and then you're gonna have the time for the follow-ups, and you're gonna have the time for the one-to-ones that you do after. So each meeting is probably upwards of 3 to 4 hours a week of time. Does that sound right?
That sounds right.
How many of those do you have available each week, do you think?
Let's see. My goal is to make it, plus I've got my current BNI. So, we do have that.
Right.
And that's a good question. I want to do it'd be great if I could do 3 a week.
Okay.
That's a lot,
Right.
and to rearrange my calendar where I can do that,
Right.
um,
Makes sense.
that would be, especially in the beginning, because I want to do it a bunch so I can figure out the system. Right. And it's pretty amazing the opportunity here.
Yeah, that makes sense. And for you, are there any in particular that you're targeting?
I don't have a plan to target right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. So is there, I don't know, imagine yourself going into it, maybe look at them. Is there, when you're looking at them, are there any that you're like, this one would work well, this one wouldn't work well?
If I was going to pick, I would probably not pick small towns first.
Okay.
I'd probably pick the top 100 cities, would be my guess.
That makes sense. I think for me, I might target locations that are more known for software companies. So I'd be looking in the Bay Area, and I'd maybe be looking in Austin, Texas area. I'm trying to think of what other I could do some AI research on that real quick. I was just trying to see if there's anything else. Do you imagine that there'd be anything that if I had Meryl do some research for you that she could proactively help you, or do you think you need to do some of them before you have more thoughts on that?
That's a good question. Probably.
That's why I was asking, by the way. Trying to get clear on if there's anything we can do to help equip you too.
It would be great if I don't know what would be the best way to do it. So Utah, actually thinking about Utah, I've got a lot of clients from Utah,
right,
because they're very relational. Colorado, I've got a few.
Right.
Is
there time of day or day of the week that feels better for you?
Right now, Wednesdays are my most open day.
Okay. That's part of what I'm looking at too, is I'm thinking through if I'm going to have Meryl go through and try and get these on my calendar, where and how. So day of the week, time of day makes a difference, potentially location, in terms of what to target first. But yeah.
All right. Well, I've got to go. I've got an appointment.
Perfect. Have fun.
All right.
There you go. Bye. And that's our Get Shipped done today. Bye.